Welcome back, YouTube, to an exciting new snowmobile episode. I am going to get some work done on this thing today. And you know what? Actually, I lied to you. I got a better idea. Let's resurrect an old project that you guys probably may have caught glimpses of in other videos. But, well, here it is. This is a 96-ish Polaris Indy 500 that I bought when I was in high school because I was an idiot. And I bought it from a kid who had just rebuilt it, and he didn't rebuild it right, and it blew up about 300 miles after I bought it. And I tried to rebuild it, and the crank seal went out, and it spun a rod bearing and just basically destroyed the motor. So it's been sitting in my parents' trees until I moved up here, and I brought it with me. And just the other day, I found this little beauty on Craigslist, or on Facebook, actually. It was supposed to be running. The guy bought it from some guy that had it in a 700 Polaris. He had blown the 700 up and put this in it instead, and then realized that it just didn't have enough oomph to run it. And so he sold it to this guy, and the guy bought the wrecked 700 motor with it, and he decided he was going to rebuild the 700 motor and sell this one. So one man's trash is another man's treasure, and we're going to go ahead and do a heart transplant. He did a compression test on it with just one of those rubber-tipped hold-down compression testers, and he said he got 100 psi on each cylinder. And so I figure with a good compression tester, it'll be interesting to see what it gets, but it should be higher than that. He showed me pictures of what the pistons look like through the ports, and they don't look too bad. There's not any bad scarring or anything like that. We do have no idea how many hours or miles are on this motor, but we're just going to put it in and hope it works. Since it was running, the carbs should be good to go. Shouldn't have to do any work with them, and I don't have to try and clean the carbs that have been sitting in this thing for 5 years. So without further ado, this sled has seen better days. It 3 or 4 or 5 owners back or so, it was crashed into something in the front end. As you can see, there's no bumper on it anymore, and some of the belly pan has been kind of reworked with what looks like whatever metal the owner had laying around. But I'll have to unhook a cable here to get the hood out of the way entirely. But this is how I left it when I was done with it. Basically, it wasn't worth doing anything more to it, and so this is how it's at. So we'll get all the old junk parts out of here first, and then we'll get to looking at what we need to do to get this other motor in here. I am seeing one difference right off the bat. This one has the water neck up on the head, and the other one had it off to the side. Now I'm wishing I would have grabbed that other piece from him. He was going to send the hose and stuff with me, so we may have to do something about that. But anyways, we're going to get this old junk out of here and make room for the new. Alright guys, we got all the crap out of the old sled. It's all laying on the floor over here. Now it's time to go inside, I guess, and do some research. I'm going to have to look into either A, getting back a hold of that guy and getting that water neck setup he had, or B, just looking online and seeing what it would cost me to get a different setup. Or C, which I don't know how I feel about this, but would be to see if I can just reuse the head from my old sled. The head was in just fine shape. All the damage was underneath. There's actually balls missing out of the bearing for the crank. So that was where all the damage was. So yeah, the other thing I might look into is a front bumper. See if I can put a front bumper back on this thing, because it's just something that I'd like to have. But before I buy anything, I'm obviously going to bolt the motor in place and make sure that it's actually got compression. And actually, I'll probably just bolt it to the motor mount plate and just clamp it down and do compression tests that way. But obviously, I want to make sure it's got good compression and everything, good spark and all that before I get too carried away with ordering any pieces. But the other thing I'm gonna have to replace is my brake master cylinder up there. As far as I'm concerned, it's probably shot. The button is stuck in on it, and we'll probably want to take the caliper off too and take a look at that, because I'm sure that's probably frozen. I don't know that I'm sure I can work the caliper loose, but I don't know that there's much I can do for the master cylinder, so that might get reworked. Another thing that I've been tossing around, as ideas is possibly leaving the handlebars, leaving all the covers and crap off of the handlebars, and moving the thumb warmer switches and stuff, the handle warmer switches down to here. I don't know if I like that idea yet, because then you got to run them wires up around the steering column, and then they're moving back and forth a lot more than they would be right now. But I'm kind of going for a mod look on this thing. Obviously it's not pretty, so I'm definitely not going for an original look. But as you can see here, I built a custom bar riser out of some square tubing back when I was in high school, and then I never even got to ride it with that in there because I blew it up. But I don't know, I think it'd be kind of fun to, I might even add a little bit more to that if the throttle cable's long enough. And because I like to stand up when I'm riding, or kneel on the seat at least. And it was a little bit too low when I was standing up, and you had to bend your back just a little bit. And I think that's 2-inch steel. I think that 2 inches is going to be enough to alleviate that issue. But I guess we'll find out if we do get the thing running. But so yeah, the biggest hurdle right now is just going to be that coolant setup. Everything else looks like it's going to be where it needs to be, and unfortunately there's still fuel in the tank, and so that's going to have to be drained out. And I don't know if I'll just take the tank off of here. I haven't had the sled any further apart than this ever before. Obviously I got the engine out of it, but I haven't gone any further than this, and so I don't know yet if I'm going to go that far as to start pulling the tank off and stuff like that, and cleaning the tank out. I probably should, but if I can get it to just drain out for the most part, then maybe that'll be good enough. There's still oil in the oil injection tank too, so I don't know what I'm going to do there yet, if I leave that in there, drain it out. So yeah. There was one other issue I found when I pulled the dipstick for the chain case oil. It was really gummy and nasty, so I might see if there's a plug in the bottom of that somewhere, and see if I can get the crap drained out of there, even if I got to fill it full of diesel fuel or something to help rinse that out of there, and get some fresh stuff in there. But otherwise, I think we're in pretty good shape. And like I said, as long as this motor runs and everything like it's supposed to, I think we'll be all right. And we'll go from there. But I'll probably leave you guys here today. I might record a little bit more, but this is probably all I'm going to upload for this episode, in case I get busy. So thanks for watching. Please leave a like, share, subscribe, and check back for more.